People on bath salts, people on drugs, eating human faces. This is in the news. This wasn't really in the news before. Maybe it happened. Um, I think that these drugs, yes, they do make people appear crazy. I think they open certain people up to demonic possession. And not all of these spirits are the same. They're not like the spirits in a narcissist. They can stay in that body for many decades, and they can hold back and not be arrested and appear somewhat normal to the majority of people that they come into contact with. No, the demonic spirits that possess people that are on drugs are something very different, because many of these drugs will cause the human spirit, cause the human soul to leave the body and get closer to the hell realm, because they would not be going to heaven in this state. So, if the soul nears death while the human is on drugs or some other mind-altering substance, then the soul, the spirit, would go to hell. And many of these times, the human isn't actually dying, so they're only getting close to hell, and the spirits there can see them. So I believe what happens, and I've also collected and gathered evidence to support this, other people's testimonies and people that have had NDEs, people that have been on drugs, things that they've said, is as they near the hell realm, but they're not dying. So they are not going to hell, but they're getting close to hell. Then these evil spirits that are actually in hell come out of hell and go into their bodies. And these are not the spirits that are in narcissists. These are spirits that have already been condemned and damned to hell. So we have jinn and we have humans, which are judged based on our deeds. And so when a jinn goes to hell, I believe that that is where these very wicked, evil, demonic spirits come from. There are humans, yes, but jinn are also judged. And each human is assigned a jinn. We're evenly yoked with our jinn. And possibly if we come to faith, and if the jinn is unable to come to faith, then our jinn would be swapped with another one. And they do influence us, and they can watch us as well. So I think maybe we influence each other, I don't know. But the jinn are similar to humans, but mentally they're not the same. They're not as creative and compassionate. Their minds are not as strong, and they're not as similar to God as we are. However, their bodies are physically much greater, and they're kind of like superheroes, where they can dart around really fast and do things like that to a much greater extent. But mentally, they don't have like the empathy and compassion and probably the depth and logical thinking. Maybe they can figure out like mathematics very well, and they're more logical, but they don't have like the complex, profound mental capacity of a human being. So when these beings are judged, and a human is on drugs, and their soul nears the hell realm, then they can pick up and they can pick up and arbor demonic spirits from the hell realm. And these are not concerned with longevity, because they're going to be cast back shortly as soon as the drug wears off. And they are also not sent by the devil to stay in people for years. So they can do things quite shocking. They can do things that spirits in the narcissist have to make it look like it's a coincidence or it's an accident, and there's always like a reason to believe that someone else did it, and it wasn't intentional. But this is a separate situation. So these are not even regular demons. They are living spirits that have already been judged, have already been sent to hell. Some of them torture, murder, And I'm not talking about poisoning. I'm talking about brutally murder and enjoy ripping you limb from limb and eating your face. These are different spirits. These are not your normal demons. And when they go in the hell realm, they get worse. So they're not your normal demons. These are spirits that have already been judged. And then they just, it's like a downward spiral. They just get worse and worse and worse. And there's no hope and there's no saving them. They're not like the Nephilim or the spirits that have been roaming the earth since the flood. So it's not good. It's not a good time. We've got like fentanyl and bath salts and like worse drugs now than we ever have. And guys, I haven't been getting enough sleep lately, so I'm forgetting like simple words. I'm just hopping on here to make some videos about topics that I think are important, which is drug use opens a gateway. It opens a portal to demonic possession, and these are not normal demons. These are dark spirits from hell that are much worse than most demonic spirits and anything that you would see in a narcissist. The narcissist will torture you like underhandedly and behind your back, not even to your face. And yes, that can hurt your feelings. But the narcissist will not be ripping your fingernails off and then cutting, segments of your finger off one at a time, and then your arm, and then like cauterizing and burning the wounds so that they can torture you longer, and then using curling irons and blinding you. And so this is something different. I would say they're not even really demons. They're like jinn spirits, evil jinn spirits that have already been condemned to hell. And then when they see the human spirit come near, then they are allowed somehow to get into that body. So guys, be very careful and do not do drugs. It's very important that you do not do drugs. Certain drugs are not as dangerous, and with the proper supervision and prayers and the right mindset and with a safety net. Make sure you have someone else there with you. Then it is possible to do these. There's always a risk, but more safely. That's not what we have today. Even drugs that are not that bad today are laced with fentanyl. So unless you have made it yourself, which is you're going to go to jail, or you know who has made it, there's just way too much risk. Do not take any drugs. This is not like a Dare infomercial. This isn't like the cocaine and crack of your parents and your grandparents. What we have today, it's much worse. And they're lacing lesser drugs with very dangerous drugs that can kill you. You can overdose on the first use. But even if you don't, these new drugs are known for making people go crazy and become cannibals on the street. Or they're just standing there zombified, staring blankly into space, defecating on the sidewalk. You don't want to take any drugs now. It's too dangerous. It's too dangerous. It's not like smoking pot, guys. God made marijuana, and humans did genetically modify it and hybridize it, and they did like breed different plants to make it more potent. But if you get a non-GMO variety, it's still a plant that God made, even though humans have altered it slightly. It's not what we're seeing today. It's not what we're seeing now. Demonic activity is at its height. Evil spirits. It's the final battle right now. So you need to protect yourself and do whatever you can. And if you feel a strong urge, pray to God and ask God to help you. God can do anything. It can even stop you from taking these hard drugs. Could even save you. If you're about to inject something, pray. Call out to God. There's nothing that God can't do. It's not like doing drugs in the past. It's not like 20, 30 years ago. What we have now is completely different. And who knows, they could be putting graphite in it, that graphene, They could be putting other things. They could be putting things there in certain procedures that you might be boycotting. They might be putting that in the drugs as well to make sure it gets to everyone. So you have to be very careful right now. And we are at war. We are at war right now. So be a warrior. And you have to sacrifice. And we take casualties. We can't always have everything we want. More things are contaminated and poisoned right now. We have to be very careful. So I was never for drugs, but I wasn't really against them in the past. But now, ever since Trump got elected, and especially now with fake Biden as president, do not take anything. Don't take a single thing. It is not the drugs of your parents and your grandparents. You could be eating somebody's face and then in prison for the rest of your life. You don't want that. You can compromise your body and open it to demonic spirits. And it's not so simple to get rid of these things. Yes, you can, but it's not that easy. And it could even take years. Also avoiding sin during this time and fasting, and it's not easy. So don't watch the Dare, don't watch the Dare commercials. It's not about being cool or not being cool. We're here on earth to choose God, to go to heaven. And it would be nice, and we would be honored and remembered if we've had a positive impact on the earth. We're able to save or help people. So doing drugs, it's just stupid. There are a few books of our lives that are written. And there's the Akashic Records, and there's a book of our sins that is written down, and things that we've repented for, I've heard have been removed. But then there's another book of our lives that includes every single detail. And that's not like the book of our sins. That's just the book of our lives, like our story. And you don't want it to be full of binging and taking drugs and not doing anything. It sounds cool here, but it's not. It's going to be pretty pathetic in the afterlife. So make God proud. Go out there and fight the evil and do good. A lot of fighting the evil is just doing good. And I know this is going to sound stupid, don't take drugs. The drugs we have today are not the drugs we had 20 years ago. Don't take them. And I could say alcohol is worse too, but I'm not even getting into that. Because when the alcohol is contaminated, so is the food supply. It's just something different. Don't take any hard drugs or illegal drugs right now. It's too dangerous. These drugs are not what they say they are. They lace them with many other things, and they're not just other drugs. They could be things that you would morally disagree with being placed in there, and it has nothing to do with getting high. So be very careful. Keep your temple clean and pure to your best of your ability. If you made any mistake, pray. Ask God to cleanse you, purify you. If you need help, pray. God can help you. God is the best helper. We're all assigned angels that help us and guide us on our way. So I know that it can be hard. And it's something like, I'm here, I'm not taking any drugs, and I'm telling you what to do. I know that can look bad. That's not my intent. I'm putting out a warning now. I'm putting out a warning that when you go to take something today, first of all, there's a 99% chance you're not going to be getting what you're purchasing. There's at least going to be a little something else in it. And if not, it's going to be a little stronger. And even if it was exactly the same, the demonic activity and the evil spirits, they're like in overdrive right now, so you have to be incredibly careful. Even trying to do things right, you might be jealous or speaking behind someone's back, and then there's still like a legal right for certain entities to come in and influence you. So guys, be very careful. I thank you all for listening.